Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast. Steve McAvoy, Kyle Bennett, stepping in the booth in place of John this week. We're here with you on a wild Wednesday here in the world of golf, whether you're listening to this on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe next month. We're going to get you all the info that you need here, right in the underground. Future! Or like, play some future song, too, for the audio in this one. Like,
Pod on.
Like March Madness, just like burr, burr, burr. Anyways, we're down here in the underground, powered today and always by the good people over at Tomahawk Shades, the best premium small batch eyewear brand in the industry, keeping you styling and profiling from the first tee to the 18th green and beyond. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be and however you are listening. You can find us here on Twitter and Instagram at Get In The Hole Pod and on Facebook.com/Get In The Hole, and of course all over the underground universe, Twitter and Instagram at Underground PHI, Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI, Twitch.tv/Underground Sports PHI, and all over the streaming verse, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, literally wherever you get your podcasts.
Search Underground Sports Philadelphia on YouTube because you got to subscribe so we can get the custom link. We have to get to 1,000 subscribers and we have to have the watch hour. So that's why you guys got to watch on YouTube, play the pod on your phone with the volume all the way down, and follow along. It's that simple. Help us out. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's number one thing on the list. Subscribe to the YouTube.
Very offended that you stole my last little lick here that I always
let them know. It needs to be branded into their brains. So I think if we both say it, it'll do double the damage.
Finally, we're on YouTube, guys. Just shy of the 200 follower mark. Be sure to go like, subscribe. For all things sports, just search us Underground Sports Philadelphia. So like, subscribe, literally play at lowest volume, like as background noise for all we care. Listen, give us those views, and get us to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Once again, Steve and Kyle here, as per usual, filling in for John this week on the PGA Tour every single week, giving you the news, analysis, bets. What more can you possibly want, including plenty of LIV talk, which we'll get to today. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stephen McAvoy _ You can find Kyle on Twitter at KBizzle11, and IG at the exact same thing, where that E is a 3. Shout out to AIM Messenger, which was a little after my time. But
was it? Man, I'm old. I know I'm old, but man.
You know, I barely missed the boat on it, but like I was also not that like I was in the generation, but the first thing I ever got was a Facebook.
And Facebook was number 2 for me. AIM was like pure like middle school, like putting up those away message statuses was like you were the fucking bee's knees.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta go back and see when I started my Facebook, because I remember I established my Facebook. I want to say I was like 7 or 8, because I played Farmville, and my mom was like, I'm tired of you
Farmville
playing.
And Fishville.
My mom was tired of me playing on her account. She was like, make your own. So I made my own and never looked back. And like it was that point when like you're like 8 years old and you're like, yo, like I'm so cool. I get to like lie about my age, because back then it was like the age restriction was like pretty sure it was 21 back then, because it was still in the actual like Zuckerberg Facebook days where they actually like monitor, or like 18.
Maybe I think it might have been 18.
18, I think it was. But still, like 10 years my former as a Facebook resident. I'm pretty sure like my birthday is still like 1990 something, to try and avoid.
You
that.
Old bag.
I gotta change this, honestly. Embarrassing.
That's hilarious.
Technically speaking, I'm older than you. Also, Kyle, I literally told you John. Ew. Did you see the recent trend of like guys like asking their girl like name? It was like name one player from every like sports franchise like in a given sport.
Yeah.
So I asked my girlfriend. Obviously, like golf doesn't have like teams. Technically speaking, I could ask her for one player from every LIV team, but she'd have no fucking clue. Because then again, I don't either.
I don't even know the teams.
You know, Sergio Garcia's Fireballs, which apparently which apparently they're going through a rebrand, because Sergio said, and I quote, "I realized that the name is literally my Fireballs." Like technically speaking, they're the Fireballs, but like when you put Sergio as the captain, someone's gonna say, "Oh, Sergio Garcia's Fireballs," like, and not even saying it like in a lackluster like, oh let's make fun of his balls regard, but literally just as like a journalist would casually say it, and yet it leads to that. Or like the Niblix. Still have no fucking clue what that is.
Yeah, what is that? That sounds like
The-
the Niffler from the Harry Potter universe, that little mole thing.
There are some names like they're all supposed to be like golf terminology things. Like I think like Niblix is like a term. It's like a British term for it's like for pretty sure a golf club or something. I don't know what it is, but like
It's also what they call French fries on Thursdays.
The aces make sense. Like certain things, regardless. Fuck those names. I hate literally all of them, and their logos are all from Madden. Anyway, so I asked my girlfriend. I go, "Hey, could you name me 10 golfers?" It's like it isn't hard. I'm sure if you ask the casual person to name 10 golfers, I'm sure if you ask Margie right now, she'd be able to do it.
Might be a tall task for me, honestly.
Well, all right, here, let's test your knowledge. Let's see. Right now, time on the clock. I'm going to see, could you get this in 30 seconds? Time starts now.
Tiger Woods, Harry Higgs, Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Will Zalatoris, Taylor Tringale, Taylor Gooch,
Come on.
Greg Norman, and Jack Nicklaus.
All right, so 20 seconds. Also, it's Cameron Tringale, not Taylor
Cameron.
Tringale. But hey, I mean, you got it. But like, you could I could very easily name you the top 10 golfers in the world. It's no problem. Like my girlfriend should very much know, considering I talk about them all the time. Tiger, Phil, probably DJ, Rom, Colin. DJ. I'd say like she should know Bryson. He was my favorite player for a long time. I watched the final round of the U.S. Open with her, so she should know who Fitzy and Zalatoris are. Should know Jack Nicklaus. Should know Arnold Palmer. Rory. Like, Arnold Palmer should be the easiest golfer to know just solely because of the drink. Like, you literally look at the fucking can when you drink it and you see a golfer. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. But anyways, so she goes,
how many people do you think don't know that that's a golfer?
Oh, probably plenty.
I'd probably say close to 50%.
But, like, I find it fascinating because, well, first of all, like, my first exposure to Arnold Palmer, aside from me even being a golf fan, before I even knew what the drink was, granted my grandma used to love them, so she taught me, like this is Arnold Palmer. But it was the ESPN commercial of Arnold Palmer making the Arnold Palmer, and it was like Stuart Scott and I think it was SVP. They're like, yo, that's so cool. Like that was the first like This Is Sports Center ad that I saw that I was like, wow, this is like sick. Because it's Arnold Palmer, it's the old man, and he's the caddy.
Arnold Palmer is very similar to like John Madden, where like there's a faction of people who know John Madden, the coach, who know John Madden, the broadcaster, and then who know John Madden as Madden, like video games.
Yeah. Because Palmer was never in the booth, but like many people like know Palmer as obviously the golfer or the drink.
Yeah.
And they might know him if they know the logo, and they're like, "Oh, Bay Hill has the umbrella. It must be Arnold Palmer's course."
Right.
And then you dig a little deeper and you're like, "Oh, it's the Arnold Palmer Invitational." But like, I feel like the one guy who kind of fits that mold though is like Nick Faldo. Like a lot of people like now, young fans know Faldo as the old man who's just broadcasting, but no, people don't realize that he was the number one golfer in the world for I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years for a while back in the 80s. So it's one of those things too. It's whatever. We're digressing here. My girlfriend refused to answer because she goes, and I quote, "You always make fun of me for this stuff. I refuse to do it." So I'm still trying to pry it. I then tried to get her like more and more to do it, and she said, "No, you're going to post it on Twitter. I promise you all, if we do end up getting this, I will post it on Twitter." But I'm hoping that she'll actually know 10 golfers, and I'll be able to like she knows her shit. Like, and we're gonna post this clip, and we're like, yeah, like she knows her stuff. But anyways, back into the world of golf, talking more and more about what's going on with the LIV. Probably first and foremost, it's been the number one thing on the news docket. I said this last week. I was like, this is the first time that like golf is like A block news every single day. And it's kind of fun. Like it's been a really good time because there aren't many golf podcasts that can like revel in the enjoyment of knowing that there is like actual news to talk about other than every single week there's an event. But now for the first time, I think it's like kind of like dying down, even though Brooks and Bryson and Reed and even like Pat Perez, whatever, cool. They've all jumped ship. Oh, and then Matt Wolf jumping ship was probably the most like unsurprising yet surprising, but also like untalked about topic.
Yeah, I
Like,
saw that. My heart broke. Big
I think
Matty Wolf guy.
Matt Wolf, I'm pretty sure, joined because Liv's going to give him like all of the health, like mental health benefits that he needs, which like good
That's
for
what
him.
I saw. I
That's
saw that
like,
tweet come across my timeline where like he thrived in the college game and not the tour model, and was
yeah,
better as like a quote unquote team guy.
yeah, and like you know what, like that's a actual legitimate. Like I'll give you credit for that. But every other argument that I've heard so far has been absolutely ass. And you know what? Let's start off with this live talk because I feel like it's more important than what's happening in the PGA Tour, anyways. Because the PGA Tour events this week and probably for the next 3 weeks outside of the Open absolutely blow, and we're going to talk more about it later. Let's get into this live stuff first and foremost. So obviously, if you've been living under a rock, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, and a few others have now jumped ship. Basically, the 3 biggest villains in all of golf. Because no one likes Bryson because he's a nerd. No one likes Brooks because he's a jock. And Pat Reed's Pat Reed. So how could you really like a guy who...
And Brooks is also just like...
college.
Brooks is just a liar now, too. Like,
Yeah,
nobody likes Brooks Koepka because he has completely contradicted himself from everything he has said in the past about everything. And that's why people have turned on Brooks.
I said that. I'm pretty sure Max. I said that Brooks Koepka is easily the biggest phony amongst anybody. Like, yeah, like go ahead, like hate Bryson DeChambeau all you want. I get it. Like he rolls his balls in Epsom salt. The reason why he jumped ship was largely because he wanted to. The biggest reason why he jumped ship was apparently because he wanted to have his content team, like Regency, do more and more work with him. And now, like Liv's giving him full access, to bring his team wherever he wants for his like practice rounds. That's all well and good. Like, fine, I get it. But like, you can hate on him all you want for his like idiosyncrasies and his like dumb shit. Brooks is just a bully, and he's an ass.
I wouldn't even classify him as a bully. I would classify him as
he was a bully during the whole Brooks Bryson thing, and I still do have sympathy for Bryson DeChambeau for everything. But like the report that came out that Brooks, like according to like reps and people that are close to him, he literally didn't talk about moving to LIV until after the U.S. Open, anyways. So it wasn't. So apparently they were trying to defend him and say like, oh, he still didn't know. But the guy announced it like 2 days after jumping. Like, what happened in 48 hours from playing at the country club that all of a sudden you're like, oh, you know what? Fuck this. Let's go.
You know what happened, Steve? You know what happened? That Cash App deposit hit.
You know, part of me thinks,
he got the email that said, "Oh, the money wire cleared."
Well, no, you know what it is? I think what it might have been is like, and I don't know how the money gets transacted to these guys. Like, I don't really want to know, but he probably got like an offer of like $150 million, right? Like similar to what Bryson got, and he's like, "Look, Greg, like I don't really know. I want to be able to like contend for majors and stuff." And I guarantee you, he was like, "You know what? If you play at this level, we'll give you more." Like at the US Open. And I bet he missed it. And Norman said, "You know what? Fuck it. I'll give it to you anyways." And he's like, "All right, fine, let's go." I'm sure that like there's no way that no money was transacted in this conversation in 48 hours that he was like, "You know what? We'll give you an extra $25 million. Give it to your wife." Also, there is also the conspiracy that DJ and Brooks both got married within the year, and they both have jumped ship largely because their wives told them to, or they've been pressuring him to. Which, like, you know what? Like, granted, Paulina Gretzky is like, first of all, she's beautiful and she's a model. I don't know what Brooks Koepka's wife does. I think she might be a model too, but if she's like your casual stay-at-home mom kind of like vibe, please look it up. Imagine like your wife is just like, "Hey, like 150 million, like I can't make that working 18 jobs. Let's just like go." I don't know. The whole thing's funky to me.
She's a model and an actor.
What is she acting? Like fucking like feet commercials?
Let's see. Jenna Sims.
So while you report on this, going to a Mike Schlauback.
She's been in made for TV films and B movies like Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader, Three-Headed Shark Attack, and Sharknado 5: Global Swarming.
She was in Sharknado?
Sharknado 5. She was also Miss Georgia Teen USA in 2007. 33 years old.
Wait. This makes so much sense because Keith Van Valkenburg tweeted out once Brooks jumped ship. He said Brooks Koepka's I'm only focusing on the U.S. Open was worse acting than so-and-so in Sharknado 5. I guess he meant his wife. That's so funny. That makes sense. Wow, okay. So talk about a revelation. But yeah, so apparently like Brooks Koepka did not have any conversations with anybody until after the U.S. Open that he was going to jump ship. And he said, let's see, my opinion changed. That was it. You guys will never believe me, but we didn't have the conversation till everything was done at the U.S. Open and figured it out. And just as I was going to go one way or another, here I am. This is what he said on Tuesday at his press conference, which, by the way, that presser with Pat Perez and Pat Reed was so funny because Brooks was getting like very defensive. He became very villainous, and they were trying to make it out. Like LIV Golf was trying to like make it sound like, oh yeah, Reed, Koepka, and Perez are all friends. Brooks Koepka's probably never said a word in his life to Pat Perez. No. Let's be honest. The guy's 48 years old and has been golfing since he was like 4. Give me a break. Brooks Koepka.
This is like
it's ridiculous.
It's very like I don't know if the thing it reminds me of is the spin-off series of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Yu-Gi-Oh! GX when they were all in like the boarding schools and stuff. And
I never watched that.
It was very good. Chaz, who was one of the like he was in like the high tier like class, he like left and went to another school and their school uniform was black. This is what reminds me of LIV is when they all leave Dual Academy and go to this different school, and then they just lose the color in their like uniform.
I think the funniest thing too is that Patrick Reed, like, granted, as of I think it was Bermuda, he had changed over to PXG, but he never wore a PXG hat. He'd only worn Titleist the whole time, and Titleist like stopped working with him. And so he showed up on the range the other day in a LIV Golf hat, and Kyle Porter was like, "Well, he finally got his hat sponsorship back." Dude, this guy's literally—he's wearing LIV Golf everywhere. It's on his hat. It's on the half collar on his shirt. It's on the side of his shirt. It has the little logo on the main part of the shirt. It's everywhere. This guy's draped in LIV Golf gear, like he's representing the Saudi government, like to a T. It's kind of funny, it's almost ridiculous.
That's
but like
wild.
all this stuff to say though that the 3 guys now jumping ship to LIV. Are we surprised? No. I thought like with Bryson it was going to happen because he's like nerdy and he's like all about the new innovative stuff. So that doesn't surprise me. He wants to go. Also, I put a tweet out and it was in relation to a Dan Rappaport tweet, and it's very interesting the way it was the way it was worded. It went a little bit like this. It said that, sorry, it was from Colt Noss. She said, so Patrick Reed claims the reason for the move to LIV is he felt he was forced to play too much on the PGA Tour. Over his career, he averaged 30.5 tournaments a season, where JT, Rory, and Rahm averaged only 24. He chooses to play almost more than anyone. I then said that the fact of the matter is this, and this goes for guys like Koepka, Dustin Johnson, basically every middle-aged European player who jumped ship, and like a couple of others. The only person who seems genuine right now is Matthew Wolff, because he truly will play better in this kind of situation because he was that way in college. And with the mental health stuff, they're going to give him all the money he needs to handle it. So good for him. He's actually getting like self-help.
He's going to get his own BetterHelp promo code.
But for everybody else, I tweeted this out. The fact of the matter is Patrick Reed simply isn't good enough to play with the guys like JT and Rory and Colin, where they can go out and play 24 events a year in a 48-event calendar. They can literally.
I haven't heard Patrick Reed as a casual guy who knows who Patrick Reed is. I haven't heard his name in the mix in probably 8 years.
Well, that's the problem, because Patrick Reed, despite him having, he's had 3 good performances this year. He finished top 15 at the Century, very good field. He tied for 7th at the Charles Schwab, again a very good field, and then finished 2nd at Bermuda, which was a shit-stained field where he was like the second betting favorite anyways. So outside of that, missed cuts galore, I think he hasn't had a better finish outside of the top 45. He has not been good this year. Patrick Reed's the kind of guy who can finish 50th in one tournament and then win the next one. He just kind of has that way with him. But I'm realizing something down the line here. Pat Reed this year is outside of the top 245 in the FedEx Cup standings. He's played as many events as Pat Perez, who's 102nd right now. Now, Perez is a little different because while, yes, he plays a lot, he's also going because he wants to spend more time with his family and not get tied up to more events. When you think about it, he's only playing the 7 events this year. They're going to move to 14 next year, and he might qualify for a major or 2. Well, that's to be seen. So he's going to have a shortened schedule, even though he plays about 34 events a year. At the same time, though, the PGA Tour, you can pick your own schedule. It doesn't matter. Like you can pick and choose whatever you want. But the reason why the top flight of guys play 24 events is because they can finish top 20 every single event, finish top 50 in the FedEx Cup, go off in the playoff, and next thing you know, they're the second-ranked player going into East Lake. That's just how it is. But for guys, there's a reason why the tour, at least now, until next year when it changes, the wraparound from October to December, those events are so important for all these younger level guys. There's a reason why Zalatoris played almost every other event, because he was afraid he wasn't going to be able to keep up with guys like Rory. Rory played 4 events prior to his first win of the year. He played 1 event in the fall swing that he won. He won the CJ at Summit, and then he went to win at the RBC Canada. He played 6 events prior to that. The season was half over at that point, and half his events were majors and the Players.
And he almost won the Masters.
Exactly. So these guys can do it because they don't have to play every single event. Pat Perez needs to play 34 events to even be a factor in the FedEx Cup standings. You look at guys right now. Seamus Power has played almost every single week. He is not the best player in the world, but he's consistently playing good. And despite him finishing top 20 more often than not, he still needs to play. Patrick Reed, he played the week of his life and won the Masters. That's it. Outside of that, Patrick Reed is a no-name who's only known for one thing, and it's being an asshole and a cheater in the game of golf. Patrick Reed would be a bug, a fly on the wall if it wasn't for that one Masters event. He is not good enough now to hang with the big dogs. That's why he's playing more and more and more, and he's playing in bad field events like the Bermuda Butterfield when he came in second place. Can't even win that. He's outside of the top 245. Do you know how bad you got to be that far outside in terms of FedEx Cup points?
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, so am I. You're in my realm right now.
Welcome to the Thunderdome, pal.
Like many older players, they simply can't hang with the parity in golf. Right now is probably the best era of golf that we've ever seen. Because back when Jack played, it was Jack, the back end of Arnold Palmer, and the very beginnings of Tiger and Phil. When Arnold Palmer played, it was Arnie. Towards his back end years, it was Jack, and prior to him, there really wasn't a lot. There was like Seve and all those guys, but it was 5 golfers and everybody else. Now, anyone in the top 150 can win any given week on tour. We've had 9 first-time winners on tour this year. Tom Hoagie's won an event. JJ Spawn's won an event. You have guys like Luke List winning events. This doesn't happen very often. And yeah,
Look what Scotty Scheffler's done.
Well, no, but Scotty Scheffler is the number one player in the world. He's head and shoulders better than everybody else. But if you look at the winners this year, it's very clearly shown that there's a higher percentage of guys outside of the top 10 in the world winning events than ever before. And it just goes to show you how much parity there is in golf. Like I was saying this prior to last year's Northern Trust. Tony Finau hadn't won since 2016. He had placed top 20 more than any golfer on the planet in those 4 years. It's hard to win in golf. Golf's a hard sport. That's why Will Zalatoris still hasn't won yet. And the guys finished top T2 in every single major except for the Open, which he'll probably finish T2 in this year anyways.
That's a good bet.
So it goes to show right now that The parity in golf is so big, and Patrick Reed, much like most of the older guys, Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter, Louis Oosthuizen, cannot keep up with these players anymore. So they go to this league where they can cash in their $150 million check, go live on a beach, and play 8 events a year, and not have to worry about anything else in the future. With Brooks Koepka, let's be honest, he only really cares in majors. So what's he gonna? He isn't gonna go play the John Deere this week. He would never do that. It's below him. He'll play in the majors. He'll play in the Players. He'll play in the Waste Management and the Genesis. That's it. So what's this gonna do? He's gonna lose out on all those events, but he's still gonna get to play the majors. He's only required now to play 14 events a year. He'll spend more time with his wife, do whatever the hell he wants. Because at the end of the day, all he has to do is play in the majors and actually care. Otherwise, he doesn't need the money. He's got plenty now. Bryson's game, that's a whole different story. He's too erratic. Bryson DeChambeau isn't good enough to win events anymore. The guy swings his driver. Who cares if it goes 380 yards every single time? If it goes 45 feet in the Narnia, like, what are you going to do? You're battling out of the woods at that point, and you're hanging out with the lion, the witch in the wardrobe. It's annoying. Like,
For Aslan.
His game isn't good enough to fight against guys like Scotty Scheffler, who's a 4 to 5 tool athlete, or Justin Thomas, or Colin Morikawa, or even John Rahm. He can't hang. So that's the problem with a lot of these guys.
He can't play.
And even DJ, he walked into his majors. He was playing the best golf of his life. I think he has like 3 top 10s this year, maybe. He hasn't played good either. A lot of these guys are over the hill. They want to get out. They want to find an easier life, and that's where they're going to live. But all this shit is just so disingenuous. And the only person who I kind of sympathize for is Matthew Wolff. And even, you know what? Pat Perez said, "Oh, I missed the birth of my kid for golf." Like, you could have chosen your own schedule. Like, that shouldn't be a reason why you miss your own kid's birth. Well, yeah, I'm sympathizing for you because you have to actually work in order to qualify for all these things. You never actually did, but you had to work. Those are the only 2 guys that I can kind of sympathize with, and otherwise, everyone else at this point, it's old, it's annoying, and it's just complete bullshit.
Yeah, it's like, and I feel like at this point too, like, we know who's gonna jump ship and go.
Yeah,
and I feel like everybody that comes across my timeline, because like you said, it's been A block news, so it trickles its way. Even if I'm not following a bunch of golf people, like, it makes its way onto my timeline one way or another. You know why they're going, and they just refuse to say it. You're getting a fuck ton of money. I mean, just flat out come out and say, "Yeah, I'm going for the money." But it's very interesting that nobody's done that, and I feel like they're not allowed to say it, because everybody that has been asked, "Why are you going?" there's this like wraparound, bullshit, let me sift my way through it without saying I'm going for the money.
But everyone knows the money's there,
right?
Probably the most retweeted and engaged with tweet I've ever had was, I listed the top 6 PGA earners outside of the deserters. Everyone knows between DJ, Phil, and Bryson, they got $450 million. The top 6 guys, Tiger, Furyk, Singh, McIlroy, Scott, and Rose, have made a combined $441 million. If that isn't a reason to turn your head and say, you know what, I would think about going, I would go. If I was a PGA player and I was even a top, maybe a top 10 player in the world, I wouldn't go because the competition's still there for me. But if you're outside of the top 20 in the world, why wouldn't you want to go? It makes sense for you to jump ship where you know that you can worry less. And again, we always talk about it. I love the idea of LIV Golf. I think the concept and what they're trying to do is great. I think the PGA Tour should try and adopt it. But the problem really comes down to the idea that it's the person signing your paycheck every day, and people don't want to admit to that. But I think that's the biggest thing. Until players admit that they're taking blood money, they're never going to admit to it, because they don't want to think about the morality of it. And when Lee Westwood gets on a podium and is asked about is asked these questions this week by American reporters saying, if Vladimir Putin had a tour, would you join it? And he goes, "Oh, I'm not a politician. I can't comment on that." Like that's your platform. That's your right to comment on it. Like we keep the argument from when LeBron James was told shut up and dribble. Like this has been happening for years. Athletes want to have rights and talk about it. Talk about it. Be honest. Tell them, hey, yeah, I'm playing for the money. Pat Perez did it. Why can't you? That's my whole takeaway from all this. And there's so much more to unpack with LIV Golf. And
do you want a good chuckle about LIV Golf real quick?
Yeah, please.
So we all know Dustin Johnson's playing.
Of course, yeah.
On the LIV Tour, obviously. Still love that his Twitter handle and Instagram handle is DJohnsonPGA. But the bio is LIV Golf.
LIV Golf. Live, laugh, golf.
Can't lose that check mark, baby.
Well, you could change your name. Would you lose the check mark?
You lose the check mark if you change your Twitter handle.
Damn. Shame.
That's why our good pal Grayson Murray lost, because he just deleted the Twitter handle.
No, he never had the check mark to begin with. That schmuck.
Oh, what a bozo. Just a reminder, we are Grayson Murray's least favorite podcast.
I gotta add that. It's like when OTB says allegedly award winning.
Yeah.
You gotta
allegedly award nominated.
I gotta add that to the intro. Welcome in to Grayson Murray's least favorite show, the Hidden Bowl podcast.
I was talking to John Barchard tonight when I was out at the thing, and he said he saw that interaction, so it made its way around all parts of Twitter.
Final thing about LIV. I want to stop talking about this because it's annoying. They can go play their fucking Pumpkin Patch Open in Portland this week. Whatever the hell it is. It's like Pumpkin Ridge. It's gonna be the Halloween Classic at Pumpkin Patch Ridge. Last thing, I want to talk about a Len Hochberg tweet that you and I were talking about pre-show. Top 10 guys at PGA cannot lose, and I think this is probably one of the best things that I've seen because it's so true. Between McElroy, Thomas, Spieth, Scheffler, Rahm, Morikawa, Homa, Cantlay, Schauffele, Burns, and Zalatoris.
Bars.
If one of those guys jumps ship, all of this stuff is kind of like out the window, and now you're really kind of dealing with the heavy stuff. No one's like beloved, no one's disliked any harder than I would say Bryson, Brooks, and Reed, but there's kind of that like borderline between the three of them and everybody else, because you're dealing with Rory McIlroy was the guy from the early to the 2010s. Spieth was the guy from the 2010s. The former number one Rahm, the former number one Morikawa, and now the current number two. Guys like Cantlay and Xander, who won this past week at the Travelers, showing that he's still very much in it with his 6th win. Max Homa is like the Twitter god. Everyone loves this guy. He'll be on the PIP for years to come now. Scheffler, the number one player in the world. Justin Thomas has been all around one of the best players in the world for the last 5 years. And then Burns is probably one of the hottest players on tour right now. So all these guys combined, if you said any of them would jump ship, and then also alternatively, if any of them did jump ship, who would be the least like we should worry about?
I gotta look at the list again here.
Because the only player that I could possibly see jumping, and this would have to be for ridiculous reasons, would be Morikawa. And the reason why I say that was because there was rumors about it happening. And not that I believe it at all, because he literally shot him down and said no. But between Morikawa and Schauffele, I feel like they have something to lose with staying on the PGA Tour with the fact that they are so good. Colin Morikawa has won the European Tour last year. I think he might be able to go back and do it again. Obviously, the European Tour has just strengthened ties with the PGA Tour, so that's kind of a lost cause. But I feel like if there's any two guys that would go, it's Morikawa and Schauffele. If there's one guy that like I'd be the least concerned with going, I really can't say anybody particularly, but I don't know. I think if one of those guys go, like catastrophe strikes.
Yeah, I was gonna say with Colin Morikawa, I don't think he goes because
he was. Go, I don't think
he was one of the people that came out and put out his hilarious tweet as well. And I think not that there's like alliances in golf per se between players, but I really think everything that happened at the Masters with Colin and Rory with that spectacular moment, like those two guys are like it felt like something sparked with those two where it's like we got to lead the charge. Even before all this LIV stuff happened, it was like yo, we're back. Like, we need to be the faces of the PGA Tour now.
No, I totally agree. I mean, like, first of all, Rory McIlroy has taken on the name faces, like, basically the head of the PGA.
He's my guy. Rory's my new guy. Like, not that he never wasn't, but like he's my number one. It's Rory, Colin Morikawa, and Willie Z are like my three like guys, and obviously we all love Harry Higgs, because go Birds. But those, and Scotty Scheffler's a weapon, but like those three guys are like my most like fun, enjoyable casual golfer guys to watch.
I can't get enough of Rory's voice.
I love it. And I rarely enjoy an Irish, British, Scottish accent in that triangle.
So nice.
But I enjoy Rory talk. I could listen to Rory read the phone book.
Honestly, yeah. Like, that guy can read me the Bible, and I'll be so into it.
And when he gets fired up, too, inject it into my veins.
Like, honestly, like, him taking over as basically like the spokesman for the PGA, Rory McIlroy, and I think it was Keith Van Valkenburg who said it, we've seen more of Rory McIlroy on TV than we have of Joe Biden and Jay Monahan combined. Like, he's become the president of golf.
I'd vote for Rory.
You know what? I'll write him in the New York gubernatorial elections.
Rory Morikawa 2024. Print the shirts.
I saw a really funny shirt, and it was Homa Damon 2024. It was in the Reagan Bush font.
Yes.
There's also apparently, and I didn't realize this. I went to go vote yesterday. Bobby Shmurda was on the ballot for governor of New York. Did not know this. I thought it was a meme. I showed up yesterday to vote for the primary, and I'm like, oh my God. It was amazing.
That should be something you guys do in the off season.
He didn't get it.
Top 5 golfers, or top 5 rappers that you would want to see on the PGA Tour.
How about top 5 golfers you want to see in politics? I'd say like Rory and Rahm would be there.
Rory, Rahm.
Nash Homa would just meme everybody.
Homa would be great for the tweets. Homa would probably be like the press secretary. I could see Spieth.
I think Rory's the president, honestly.
Yeah, Rory is my president.
But Rory's VP would be like, I'd say Spieth. That makes sense.
I think it'd be Morikawa, just based off of the vibes. I think
friendship?
those two, that friendship, I feel like, and even if it's not true, I'm gonna manifest that it's true, and in my brain, I'm gonna build that narrative that is like the biggest friendship on tour.
John Rahm gives me hardcore Secretary of Defense vibes.
It's like a 5-star general.
No. The general would be. I gotta think about this. Can't be Harry Higgs. Imagine Harry Higgs as like your general. Matt Fitzpatrick is gonna be like the the White House chef. Like the little kid. Honestly, Brooks Koepka would have been the general.
I'd be terrified if he was a general.
Tiger Woods is the general. Tiger Woods,
yes,
the general. How can you forget that? All right, we got to get off the political train.
Choo.
What's next on the docket so I can keep on rolling with
it's gonna make you mad because
get me pissed off.
Unless you want to cheer up, because we have this field that stinks, or we have an ultimate team up.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna bash the PGA. Let's do it. All right, the John Deere Classic fucking sucks. All right, this is where I kind of go on my my ultimate rant. I'm gonna read you. Actually, here. Let's play a little game to start it off. I have a list of the featured groups for Thursday. I'm gonna read you their last names. I want you to tell me if you can name their first names.
Okay.
All right. Hoffman.
Blake.
It's Charlie. Champ. This is easy.
Cam.
Davis.
Al.
It's also Cam. Ramey.
Sam.
Chad. Poston.
Malone.
It's JT. Close. Brem. Brehm.
Hat.
Be serious with me. Come on.
I'm doing like word analogies. Did you notice like the last 4?
Yes, I did.
Brem. It's such a gross last name. No offense to Mr. Brem, but Michael.
Robert. How about Streb?
Max.
Also Robert. Kazire. This should be easy. He's kind of relevant. For me, he's relevant.
I know it's wrong. I feel like this is just because I'm thinking of Michael Kadire.
No, it's Patton.
Yeah,
Patton Kazire. He's a little more like relevant for like my wave because like I like know golf too much. I bet Laird.
Is he Patrick?
Martin. There was a Patrick and Gerald Laird who played baseball. All right, these two you should know. Day.
Jason.
Simpson.
Webb.
There you go. All right, so you got 2 here. How about Griffin?
It's also very funny that there's a Ramey and a Webb. Griffin, not Peter.
Hold on. Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Quagmire. Because the bird is the word. Griffin. Is that Lotto?
Lanto. There you go. All right. You got an entire threesome in the future groups right. I'm proud of you.
Yes.
Howell the third.
Harold, you said?
Howell.
Sam.
Charles. Snedeker.
Brent.
He's relevant. Brant. Very good. And this guy was big last week. Thagala.
Give me the first letter.
S. It's Indian. That helps.
Ooh.
Yeah, this one's hard.
Simon?
Sahith. That one's really hard, but last week...
It's a cool last name.
He was like almost going to win, and on 18, he hit his tee shot into the bunker, and his approach shot to the green went like 4 inches. He couldn't get it out of the bunker. All right, final group here. Glover. Not Donald.
Glover. I feel like I know this.
So starts with an L. My big giveaway.
Leonard.
Lucas. How about Fratelli?
Not the band.
Great song though from them.
Yeah, they were part of my first concert ever.
Chelsea's Dagger, good song.
Fratelli.
Let's go Blackhawks.
I feel like I know this one too.
My brother's name.
Oh, Dylan
Fratelli. And finally,
that's such an underwhelming first name for such a Paisan last name.
You want to laugh? He's not even Italian. He's South African.
Even worse.
How about Johnson? Can't be any more white guy than blank Johnson.
We're not talking fair weather. Shout out Hootie and the Blowfish.
All I wanna be with you.
I fucking love Hootie and the Blowfish, man.
I was listening to the Post Malone remake of that song, and I was like, why did he do this?
It's not bad.
It wasn't bad. No, I'm not. I'll admit to that. Last name. Let's get it.
Johnson. What's the first letter of the first name?
It's like a dead giveaway. It's one of the last 5 letters of the alphabet.
Okay.
It's a dead giveaway if I gave it to you. So you can eliminate X because there's only one Xander in.
I almost said Xavier.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see.
W Y or Z, and I can only imagine what Y name you can come up with.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach Johnson. Also mentor of our friend Ben Piro.
Shout out to the boy.
So those are the Thursday feature groups. You named 3 of them. Legitimately, I had to do a Google search to double check on Robert Brem, on Charles Howell, and Chad Ramey.
I said Sam Howell because that's a quarterback.
Yeah, from UNC. The fact that I had to figure out 3 guys' names and do a double take shows how bad the feature groups are. This is the worst field I've ever seen in my entire life. According to Golf Data, who, by the way, are awesome guys, definitely go and check them out. # not sponsor. The John Deere Classic this year is the 4th worst field in PGA history in the last 25 years.
What was worse?
The only worst fields, wait for this, have been the last 3. Sorry, actually, the last 2 and the last one. The last 2 Barbasol Championships, which happened the week prior to the Open when everyone goes over to Europe. Anyways, so no one's there anyways. And the Barracuda Championship, which happens the week after the Open.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bad song, by the way. Not a fan of that song.
I like that
Barracuda. Was one of the worst songs that, like that was the one song in like Guitar Hero 3 that I regretted wanting to play. Like you had to play it for the story mode, and I just didn't want to play it ever.
It's more of a like bass heavy song too.
Wasn't a
I
fan.
like it.
Best Guitar Hero 3 song though, probably most underrated, Cliffs of Dover.
Oh, that's a good one. If only they had running up that hill on there.
We are really we're killing it with the these side talk conversations in the episode. So anyways, so the John Deere Classic field stinks, which kind of leads us into like the big question: should the PGA Tour shuffle the deck? Like, should they get rid of events like the John Deere Classic and the Barbasol Championship and the Barracuda Championship? Now, granted, there are alternate events, which basically these are for the guys who can't play in the Open, can't play in the Scottish Open because they aren't playing in the Open, and then like these are like low level golfers. This is where when the PGA Tour said they were going to create like mega events, now it's come to fruition that they're simply gonna add purses to like the Genesis and like bigger events like that. This is that time when if you were gonna make a 5-week like series for the top golfers in the world, you do it these weeks, and you do it the week of the John Deere. Guys take a week off and then play the Open. You do it the week after the Open or two weeks after the Open. This way, guys can ramp up and have that hangover week to do that. So you move like the Rocket Mortgage Classic back a week, and then you do it for like the Punta Cana Challenge, which you basically get rid of the Dell Match Play, and you would do it for like, I don't know, the Mexico Open or like Bermuda. Obviously that won't happen, but the big question now is, should the PGA consider getting rid of these events? They shouldn't, because they really are alternate events, but the PGA should very much have made another event along with the European Tour for this week that some guys would get involved in, because a lot of guys are going to play in the Scottish next week. They're not going to play in the Barbasol because no one ever plays in the Barbasol. Let's be honest. It's in the middle of Kentucky. Like, JT's from there, and like bats. That's literally it. So no one's playing golf in Kentucky. Then they're gonna go and play the Open, and then no one's playing the Barracuda. I don't even know where that is. I don't really care where it is. Probably won't even do a show for it because it's gonna be that bad. Like, these are 3 events that this is the part of the schedule where it's just like, it's mind-numbingly bad. So the PGA has to put something in its place to replace it or make it better. And I mean, I'll take ideas here, but the way I see it is these should be alternate events where you should make an event instead of it. But this also, again, this goes back to the idea of guys don't want to play the full schedule so they can pick and choose their dates. Why not have a bye week? Just put a week in the calendar where guys don't need to play, and it's your week off.
Or like you said, because I'm kind of a fan of like this whole like mini tournament in-season tournament thing across all of sports, pretty much. And the fact that the PGA wants to involve it, why not make that like part of this, or like, you know, switch up the event and make it, like you said, part of like that 5 tournament stretch where like the winner wins that in-season tournament for however long, you know, you want to make it, whether it's 5, 8, whatever it is. I also pulled up where the Barracuda is. It is in Truckee, California, which doesn't even sound like a real place. But yeah, why not make it, you know, something like that, and then switch up the format, maybe like make it, you know, different from what a traditional PGA event is for certain stops and everything. I think there's something there within. You and I have talked about this outside of the pod, just in like text exchanges about everything.
Yeah.
Since it's kind of popped off, I feel like there's something there for the PGA to do that in terms of like an in-season tournament, or, you know, an off-season tournament, whatever it may be. It's just a matter of executing it properly. And I feel like what you just said, you know, making some of these lower end events, switch them up, rebrand them a little bit, not, you know, the names maybe, or, you know, but, you know, make it a different style of event. Make it, you know, this counts towards this in-season tournament. You get a trophy, there's money involved, whatever it may be. I think that's a pretty solid solution to kind of shuffling the deck on these lesser, lower end events that nobody's playing in. Why not draw up interest for them?
So here's the only problem that I have with this. So the PGA Tour calendar, and this kind of is like back when I was in my fraternity. This is like a very like sideways way of going around this, but we always talk like, oh, like it's tradition. You can't get rid of tradition. The PGA Tour is very much like rooted in that, and a lot of these events that you have week in and week out happen on the same exact week every single year. The Travelers is the same week every year. The 3M, same week every year. The Wyndham is the last week prior to the playoffs. It's been for 70 years. So it's very rooted in this like traditional mindset. And in my opinion, who needs tradition? Like, change the schedule for a week or two. It's whatever. You can do that. The problem is that you got to be able to curate a schedule that caters to big-time players, those top 50, don't play the week before and the week after a major, except for the Open. The Open's the only time they'll ever play a week prior, and it's because they want to play in Europe and have that windy, cold, murky, shitty experience, so they know what they're getting into for the week after. Yeah, exactly.
Your mental time clock being on track and everything too.
So that's the only event that I find, all right, they're going to play the week prior, but don't put an event before that one. So you got to cater to events where usually they don't play the week prior or the week after a major. The next event after that, because you got to factor in those like big time events. I'm not saying get rid of the events like the John Deere, because they're very much like minor league sports. For example, like my girlfriend lived in Allentown, right? Allentown's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive from Philly. You really can't go to New York because it's so far out of the way. And so the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, AAA affiliate for the Phillies, were like they were the team. Sell out every single night. Everyone pulls up. They want to go watch Roman Quinn.
Friends of the program. Shout out to the Iron Pigs.
So the thing is like, you can't get rid of like minor league baseball teams, because like that's the show in town. The Quad
and then they tried, and then they rebranded them.
Yeah, exactly.
To the draft league teams.
And it didn't really work because like cities were outraged. And if you notice, most minor league teams are in cities where you are 2 or 3 hours away from your nearest franchise. The Harrisburg Senators, you're so far away from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, you need a team there. You have teams you can literally like conjure up any like city you could think of it, and like you can find it. Oklahoma City or like Tulsa. There are 3 teams in Oklahoma. There's no baseball team in Oklahoma. You got to go to either Kansas City or all the way down to Texas. It's not going to happen. So it's very much like these events. In Connecticut, yeah, you're about 2.5 hours, let's just say, to Manhattan and Boston from when I went to school at Quinnipiac. That was the number that you went with. You watch the Hartford Yard-Goats, you watch the Hartford Wolfpack, the team in Bridgeport, and you go to the Travelers, because it was the one time the golf season actually came to the Northeast. If it wasn't going to be the Northern Trust, which now again is defunct, which was the only event that actually always had a spot in New York, Jersey, and Mass. Never Connecticut. So it's the one time of year where fans actually go. And Max Schreiber, friend of the program, wrote a really good article about the history of the Travelers and how people love this event. Like, they go all out for the Travelers Championship, which is amazing. It's great. Good for them. The Quad Cities and Savoy, Illinois is really, it's the one event where you go to Illinois for the golf event. Because it's in a very rural area. It isn't in a populous area. The reason why John Deere went there was because it was a farmer's town. They wanted to establish residency in a place that was for the common man. You're at 2.5 hours west of Chicago. If you're going west, you're going to Minnesota, and north is Wisconsin, and you're like 4 hours from any relevant sport there. So it really is the one show in town, and people get ready and ramped up for this event, and they love it. But the unfortunate reality is that they don't get the good golfers to go. This is very much a place where, if I were the PGA and I was to really kind of shuffle the deck here, you make a premier event this week. You put a week in between this and the Scottish for the Open. This way you have the week open. Guys go to this event, and they play it. Because, again, most guys will play the Travelers after the U.S. Open because it's a premier event. What if you play the U.S. Open, the Travelers, and you play this premier event, top 50 players in the world? The bottom players can play this event, and then also you have a bunch of exemptions for Korn Ferry Tour guys, top up-and-coming PGA University guys, like Cole Hammer's going to be in the field this week, Pearson Cody, who's been a big name. Michael Torbjornsson is probably going to play. He finished top 5 at the Travelers. These are amateur players, big-name guys who are now coming up in the field, and you can know who they are and see them live, while the rest of the other guys go play these big events. I'm not saying create new events necessarily for all of them, but you can make it for the Waste Management, Riviera, and then on top of it, create these 2 or 3 events to coincide with these alternate events where it benefits everybody. It doesn't benefit anybody when the top player going into this event was Daniel Berger, and he withdrew because he was like, why would I even want to play this? Right. Like, that's the problem with these events. They should create some, drop others, and recurate the calendar to fit exactly what they're looking to do. Because there's a lot of events, too, towards the beginning of the year that, like, no one really watches very much. After the Century, it's the Sony Open of Hawaii. All right, not a big-timer event. Then it's, like, the Amex, which is, like, usually a big event. You could probably make that one of the events. That would be a decent-sized place to go. You can make an event like the Honda, pretty big. Like, you can turn these things into bigger tournaments than they already are, while keeping the overall look of the tour calendar. And I think that's where the PGA Tour is kind of lacking, because this is not good. Like, a PGA Tour event should not have a field where your best player, quite arguably, is Webb Simpson, which, like, isn't bad. He's still a top 50 player in the world, but Webb Simpson hasn't had a top 10 or a win in I can't tell you how long. So that's my thoughts there.
I agree. I think there's something there to switch something up, make that in-season tournament happen during these things, rebrand some stuff, change some stuff up. Like you said, these aren't, majors. It's not like there's deep-rooted tradition in some of these smaller events. You can shake the table up a little bit with them.
Exactly. Kyle, I want to, because we always do it, I feel the need to just kind of just blurt it out there. Give me a pick this week. Someone who you think might perform well. I'm going to give you a little stat here. We're talking BeerMoney, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Philadelphia's #1 light lager. Let's get some Kenny's. Let's talk a little bit. So the John Deere Classic, we've already bashed it. You might as well give some props to it. It's a birdie's paradise putting contest. If you're gonna Google a stat, it's strokes gained putting, and I'm pretty sure like strokes saved like out of the bunker. Like, these fairways are literally like a bowl, like they're meant to stay in the fairway. The best way that I was ever described this golf course was that it is a golf course with training wheels. And
sounds
also,
perfect for me.
And me too. Don't disrespect the history of this course too. Jordan Spieth got his very first win here. And also, when you win, you get a pretty cool tractor. So, if it means anything to you. So, Jordan Spieth did win here. Is there any one guy that you think stands out this week in this atrocious field that you think that let's just take 2 guys out of, let's make a gentleman's bet right now, all right? I'll take somebody, you take somebody. Whoever finishes better The loser does something. Well,
Okay.
come up with a fun little bet here.
Let's see.
I haven't looked at this at all, so I have no idea who's even playing. I
I
can't
just
think of
pulled
anybody
up.
who's like relevant.
I just pulled up the winner odds on both of our sports book of choice. Not a sponsor. Everybody's plus 1100 or worse, which is kind of nice.
That's what it usually is, though. Ooh, Adam Hadwin, interesting.
I'm gonna take with my first pick. I'm gonna go down under. I'm gonna take Jason Day.
Okay. I got again. All right. So stroke game putting. That's the big stat this week.
Jason Day, everybody also plus 2600 to win if you're interested.
I want to pick someone who's like really good with the putter, really crafty. Is Denny McCarthy in the field this week? If he is,
yes, he is. He is.
Denny McCarthy, take him to the bank, plus 2,500. Perfect.
Yep.
That guy is good at one thing and one thing only, and it's putting. He's atrocious at everything else, but if he can get you to the green and make a birdie, he'll hit it. I like it. All right, there you go. Denny McCarthy's one.
Let's
Two more
see.
picks. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll take 3 guys each. One, like we have our guy at the top. Let's do like a mid-range guy, like 5,000 or worse, and then like a super long shot. Best cumulative score wins among the 3.
I like that. So our first top guy was Jason Day and Denny McCarthy.
And Denny, yeah.
Okay. My plus 5,000 or worse guy. Let's see. I'm gonna go Lonto Griffin plus 5,500.
Okay. All right. So you got Lonto. Brendan Todd is definitely in this field, is it?
Yes, he is. He is.
He's like 31. 31 to 1.
Yeah.
I need someone deeper on this board. Oh wow. Wow, this is tough because a lot of these guys suck. Like mother of God, that's bad. I don't think Bo Hostler is playing, which is very unfortunate because I like him a lot. Good putters. They are like a dime a dozen.
I have my last pick, and I hope you don't take him.
You hope I don't take him?
Yeah, right now.
All right, you know what? I'll take Zach Johnson plus 8,000.
I got my long shot. Let's go.
He's gonna be my mid range of plus 8,000. I gotta dig to like oh no, Grayson Murray's in the field. Missed the cut. Oh,
are we gonna have Grayson tracker this weekend?
Can we please actually?
Yes.
Harry Higgs is 160 to 1.
That's my long shot pick.
Oh, I kind of love it. Shit.
Harry Higgs is my long shot pick at plus 16,000.
All right, here we go. All right, I've got a long shot pick that I think is like kind of crazy. He is 280 to 1.
Jesus.
He is the #1 rated putter on tour in stroke game putting this year. Brian Gay.
And it is still Pride Month when we're
It's
recording
Pride Month, baby.
I just stumbled upon somebody who has arguably one of the best names in all of sports.
Well, let's hear it.
His name is D.A. Points.
Yeah, D.A. Points.
DePoints.
DePoint.
That's amazing.
All right, so I'm going to take Brian Gay as my long shot. I want to shout out a couple of guys who I would also consider if you're looking for like a super long shot. Kelly Kraft is the 7th best putter on tour this year. He's 160 to 1. Wesley Bryan, which they very much call him. Oh God, what's the term? Wesley Bryan. He's like called the putting god. Like he's literally only good at putting. Same thing as Denny McCarthy. Wesley Bryan's also 160 to 1. And just for the hell of it, because he's right next to Grayson Murray, and I hate Grayson Murray, Kevin Chappelle, 110 to 1. He's another guy that I'm looking at.
That's incredible that a Chappelle is next to Grayson Murray.
Chappelle show, right? Fuck Grayson Murray. And then Sam Ryder is behind him. Oh, and Scott Brown. Meet the Browns.
I am gonna go very pop culture for my guys to just pay attention to here. The first one, Joshua Creel, simply because Victor Creel from Stranger Things season 4.
We literally discussed this last week too.
Yeah, going Josh Creel there. Mr. Raimi, who you brought up earlier, because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness now on Disney Plus, directed by Sam Raimi. So I'm going to go
And
Mr. Raimi.
Apparently Howard Stern is involved in the Doctor Doom stuff.
Yeah, that's incredible. We'll be talking about that on Streamer Season this Saturday. Make sure you tune in. So those are my 2 right there. I'm going to go one more to kind of just pay attention to.
Kyle, go all the way to the bottom of the board, the 4th to last name.
He looks like he'd be in politics. Dick
Richard
Johnson.
S. Johnson.
Dick's Johnson.
Dick. Well, no, it's Dick. Dick S. Dick.
Dick's Dick.
Dick's Dick. Dick Nixon. Richard Johnson. What a bat. How do you name your kid that?
The last one I'm going to go with here, simply because the Hocus Pocus 2 trailer dropped this week, and this sounds like a magazine that would be in the Hocus Pocus universe. Boo Weekly.
It's like Boo Radley from To Kill a Mockingbird. Throw back to middle school literature. By the way, Dolly Vanderwalt is in the field this week. Shout out to him. And Bo Hogue. Bo Hogue as well. Wow, really good field for bad names.
Some great names too.
You dig low here and you find some.
Is that somebody's name? Dig low.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah, this is like Ben Crane. Oh, Robert Garrigus, apparently the first guy who said he was going to go join LIV, never actually did.
David Skins. and Daniel Shirts.
Bo Van Pelt.
Oh, man. Let's see.
Dylan, woo!
Kevin Tway.
Tway?
Yeah, Tway.
Ugh, that's bad. Oh, Will McGirt. My boy. Love Will McGirt.
Here's a great name, Trey Mullinax.
We said this last week too. Trey Mullinax was one of the best Corn Ferry Tour players, and then he fell off the boat for a while, and I think he's now back. By the way, 4 straight names in a row. Hayden Buckley, which is a great name, sounds like a cattle farmer. Rory Sabatini, the guy who wears the crazy hats. Chris Gotterup, and Austin Smotherman.
Gotterup and Smotherman being back to back is unreal.
Perfect. And then of course it's Doc Redman with the incredible mustache. Kramer Hickok.
As bad as the field might be, it's an all-name team field.
It really is, honestly. There was a guy finished top 10, John Huh, H-U-H. And then of course there's Christian Bezadenhout, which if you don't know how to spell it, I will spell it for you right now, without even looking at anything. Bezuidenhout. Bezadenhout.
Ding.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Do I win the script spelling bee? That one?
That would be something hilarious to do on all of our shows.
Iridocyclitis. Well, I'm from Long Island. If I should have you name towns in Long Island.
Yeah, and we should have you do the same for Philly.
I feel like I can hold my own here. What do you think?
I think you had me do this. Ron Concoma?
It's Ron Concoma.
Yeah.
How about all right, oh, here we go. This is an elite one.
Hauppauge?
Yeah, Hauppauge. That's impressive. No one ever gets that one.
Everyone, they did this during the 2017 NFL draft when it was in Philly, and they had people name all the hot spots in Philly, and obviously Hassan Reddick was in that draft, and he's from Camden, so he knew all of them, and he went to Temple. So then they'd go to him, and he'd pronounce it like it was nothing. Let's see.
Yeah. Here, give me a few. All right. Again, fair warning. My girlfriend went to She
Right.
danced for the Reading Royals, and she's from and she lived in Allentown. So I know most on the eastern end.
Do you know the river?
The river. Schuylkill?
Schuylkill.
Schuylkill, fuck. I was close.
A lot of people do say Schuylkill.
Schuylkill.
But it is Schuylkill. There's
It kind of just
another
makes
one.
sense. But by the way, this is the last like go away segment as we we wrap this bad boy up. So we have nothing else to say. So if you want to leave now, leave now. We're gonna be rattling off some names here on the YouTubes for those watching.
How do you pronounce that C?
Conshohocken.
There we go.
All right. Any Indian name I should know. Long Island's full of them.
I'm trying to think if
Papa,
there's
there's
anything else.
Quag, there's Aquabog.
Aquabog sounds like part of like Aladdin 3.
Sagaponic, we have. Like we have so many
Prince
like
Ali of
like,
Aquapog.
We've got like Massapequa.
Yeah, I knew that one. Should we touch on this to end, Steve? Because the merger tour team up did happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? Honestly, we should do this as a little like sidebar talk quick. So the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour did in fact team up. The DP World Tour initially said they were going to allow LIV players to join their fields. Apparently, they've gone back on that as Jay Monahan probably held a gun to their heads and said, "No, you're joining me." They've announced that they're going to now give 10 tour cards to European players for those who qualify in the DP World Tour ranks. Basically, because the DP World Tour doesn't have a Corn Ferry Tour like in the U.S., so they're going to give cards directly to those European players. They're also going to start a pipeline directly from PGA from Q School to the PGA. Talking to Ben Puro about it. They have PGA U, which technically guys can qualify directly for the Corn Ferry Tour. But this gives an opportunity for guys who graduated college and are going to the pro rank and are good enough to bypass the Corn Ferry Tour to go straight from Q School to the PGA. So pretty cool partnership here from the PGA and the DP World Tour. They're also going to sanction more European Tour events for PGA Tour players to allow them to take part in the European Tour Championship, which they do now. Still, like they are still eligible to do so. Obviously, Colin Morikawa won last year. The current way to get into the World Tournament is to have you get points based on the Open, based on the Masters, and based on all of the WGCs on top of any DP World Tour event you play. So most guys qualify like playing like 8 events, maybe like 4 or 5 if you're Colin's case, and then you won the whole thing in Abu Dhabi. But this is now a nice add-on for guys to go play abroad every now and then and give the Europeans a nice little challenge, which will be nice and fun.
I like it. I like these team ups. I think it's all good for golf. I think it gets more people viewership wise and like fan wise something to watch too, which I think has been a struggle.
And also it's one of the first steps in quashing LIV Golf, because now a lot of people are trying to basically Jay Monahan is putting a gun to everyone's head and is trying to get everyone to be like, hey, like join our side or like screw you. And his next victim is probably going to be the Open, if the Open allows them to play or not. And then after that it'll be the Masters. And honestly, if the Masters chooses to close them out, then that'll be huge, because that'll be basically you're taking away the one tournament that always stays on site, and you're saying we're going to basically bar former winners from our ranks. Dustin Johnson won't be allowed back. Pat Reed won't be allowed back. Charles Schwartzel. So that's a pretty big deal if they get the Masters. But again, we won't know more about that until April. KB, you want to give the intro a shot? The outro?
Make sure you guys are following Steve on the Twitter machine at Stephen McAvoy _ Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out our website. Steve's been doing some golf blogs. UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia.com is where all the written content lives. No free ads. Shout out Titleist.
LeBrand.
Follow the pod at Getting the Whole Pod, Twitter, Instagram, and make sure you follow the network at Underground PHI. And subscribe to the podcast feed. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, just search Get in the Hole, search Underground Sports Philadelphia. All of our shows pop up that way, so it's a lot easier to kind of just sift through, find all of our content, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Smash that like button, click the bell icon so you don't miss a single video uploaded. Comment down below. Get the comment section flowing. Let's get the algorithm cooking. And of course, be a friend, tell a friend. Share the videos. It really, really goes a long way for us taking this thing to the next step as a network with the YouTube channel. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. Steve, any final thoughts?
Got some balls.
Are they Sergio's?
The fireballs! Fireball. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. There it is, folks. You've been listening to Get in the Hole from the Underground. We'll be back next week for whatever event's going on. Probably the Scottish Open, because it's finally an event players are going to be at in lieu of the Open. The 150 at St. Andrews coming up.